Okay, so this is massive. Kuro kind of didn't advertise this really good. They kind of just silently posted this on Wuthering Waves, their Twitter account. This is more info on the negative status effects that we can apply with the elements. That's right. Elements have a meaning now. They are actually elements and mean something. Alright, so previously we already got information of Spectral Frazzle. It was already in Spectral Rover's kit, and then we're getting it with Phoebe. And there's already an Echo set out there that helps enhance it and apply it a lot better too. I don't know exactly the specifics. Let's go read here their post, their little thingy here. Certain attribute attacks can inflict negative status on the target, granting various buffs and adding depth to the combat. For real, this is gonna be holy shit. Oh my god. Let's continue reading here. During battle, certain attribute attacks inflict negative status on the target. Negative status comes in 6 types, each carrying different effects. Take the new Resonator Phoebe in 2.1 as an example. She can utilize the Spectral Frazzle effect for a strategic advantage in battle. Yeah, Phoebe's gonna be massive with this. Spectral Frazzle effect. Certain spectral attacks inflict a stackable Spectral Frazzle effect. Spectral Frazzle effect deals spectral damage to the target at regular intervals during its duration, while reducing 1 stack of Spectral Frazzle effect. So it's a dot, right? The damage inflicted by Frazzle, we're just gonna call it Frazzle, depends on the Resonator's level, enemy's defense, and damage resistance, and the number of Spectral or Frazzle stacks. And it says here it is not influenced by Resonator's attack, crit rate, and other factors. So yeah, Spectral Frazzle is a dot, and it depends on your level, defense, and damage resistance. Very nice. And that's what Phoebe's gonna have, and it's what Rover has. Rover, perform enhanced skill when Rover Spectro has more than 50% of diminutive sound to inflict 2 stacks of Frazzle and Shimmer on the target. Targets affected by Shimmer retain their Frazzle stacks, even though the effect normally decreases stacks upon dealing damage, right? So it said here that it'll damage at regular intervals, reducing 1 stack each time, but Shimmer from Rover just retains the stacks, which is huge. We got 2 stacks from his skill, and then you get 6 stacks of Frazzle from his liberation. So that's 8 stacks that you can get from bro. And then Phoebe has a confession skill. Looks like this is her ult. I don't know. Phoebe and her confession status. Okay, so it's a status. All right, is adept at inflicting Frazzle on enemies. Her heavy attack Star Flash applies 5 stacks of Frazzle to the target. Upon entering the confession status, Phoebe can immediately perform heavy attack Star Flash twice. So like 10 stacks, I'm assuming there. All right, and then her ult inflicts 8 stacks of Frazzle. So you got 18 stacks right there. She's going to be primarily with Rover in a team, so you're going to be getting 26 stacks in total here. And then if you use Spectral Rover, right, applying Shimmer with his skill, you can retain those stacks, which is pretty huge. If multiple Resonators apply Frazzle to the same target, its base damage is determined by the highest level Resonator. Yeah, that's very nice. Say like Rover's like, I don't know, level 70. Phoebe's like maxed out. It'll just use her damage instead. That's nice. So yeah, Frazzle's going to be huge. We already got an Echo set on this. This is going to be a really good team. Phoebe and Rover is going to be huge. Now, I really want to know how much damage this actually ends up doing. Because one worry I have is that these will absolutely destroy bosses. Hopefully not. I'm sure it's going to be balanced, but let's continue reading because we get more info. So in addition to the inherent effects of a negative status, some Resonators receive extra bonuses when battling foes with negative status. So Phoebe Absolution status. Okay. Phoebe in her Absolution status gains increased combat strength against enemies with Frazzle. Heavy attack Star Flash benefits from an enhanced damage multiplier, and under Absolution status, she can perform it 4 times. Damn. The outro skill also boasts an enhanced damage multiplier. So yeah, she's gonna be doing big PP damage. Yeah, here and it's showing the Echo. I do believe that's her weapon, and then the fish weapon that we get, the fish event. It says negative status effects can be enhanced by certain weapons, Sonata effects, and echo skills. Choose your tactics wisely by selecting weapons and echoes that boost your combat effectiveness. Let's continue further. Here we go. Here's the other effects we got. Now, I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but the bosses in the game can already apply most of these to us already, especially erosion or arrow erosion. I recognize this from the monkey, I believe. Let's stop yapping. Let's read here. Arrow erosion. Certain arrow attacks will inflict stackable arrow erosion on enemies. Arrow erosion inflicts arrow damage on the target at regular intervals as long as it lasts, with more stacks resulting in greater damage. So this sounds a lot like Spectro Frazzle, but one thing that is interesting, it says as long as it lasts. Spectral Frazzle, it takes away a stack every damage interval. This, it says as long as it lasts, so I'm assuming you don't have to keep reapplying it. I could be wrong in that. Other than that, it sounds pretty much like Frazzle. It's a dot. Now, another thing I'm gonna assume this is gonna be the case. Wonder if the highest level resonator, like the damage will be determined by the highest level character there that applies erosion. Maybe. Auto mains are gonna be loving this. Gion mains especially. And Jianshin should benefit a lot. I mean, this is pretty similar to Frazzle. Let's continue here. Havoc Bane. Certain Havoc attacks will inflict Havoc Bane on enemies. Bane accumulates stacks automatically while it remains active. Damn, that shit's crazy. Once it reaches its maximum stacks, it deals Havoc damage to the target, removes Bane, and applies Bane to nearby characters, enemies. Bane sounds pretty insane. Gain stacks once you apply it automatically. Once it reaches maximum stacks, we don't know how much that is exactly, but it does a little explosion. I'm assuming it's gonna look cool and deal a little explosion, and then it applies to anything nearby it. Some AoE-ness. It's gonna be huge. Camellia in her AoE mode. Ooh, that's gonna slap for real, dude. Yeah, that Bane sounds really good. Moving on, Fusion Burst. Certain fusion attacks will inflict stackable Fusion Burst on enemies. Once Fusion Burst hits its max stacks, again, we don't know that number, it ignites and removes those stacks, dealing fusion damage. Kind of similar to Bane, but doesn't spread it. It doesn't get the AoE-ness that applies to nearby enemies. You'd think this would have a dot, but I guess not. Alright, Glacio Chafe. Alright, certain Glacio attacks will inflict stackable Glacio Chafe on enemies. As Glacio Chafe stacks increase, the target speed gradually decreases. Oh, damn. Upon reaching max stacks, the target is frozen. Oh, damn. And the stacks of Chafe are removed. I really hope this is balanced, because Carlotta is already broken with how much she freezes a boss. Like, she has 3 different attacks, I think, that can freeze the enemy. I hope it's not broken, because it literally, Carlotta makes the game easier by just stunning the enemy and not making them move. And this right here might just make that even more OP. This is going to be the cheese one. Right, if you want to cheese the game, use Glacio characters. I mean, I don't know what else they could do with Glacio other than freezing enemies. I mean, typically anything with ice involved, that's what you would imagine. Alright, let's move on. Electro Flare. Certain electro attacks will inflict stackable flare on enemies. While flare is active, it weakens the target's attack with more stacks, further reducing their strength. Really? It is very interesting. And also, I would love to see this in action as well. Say this is on an enemy that will one-shot you. Will it not one-shot you with this? I don't know how I feel about this one. Everything else sounded pretty good, of course. I mean, like, erosion and fusion burst aren't like crazy unique, to be honest. But everything else, like Bane, Chafe, Frazzle, and Flare, are definitely unique. But Electro Flare does seem to be a little bit disappointing. Everything else you're gonna be able to get more damage out of, right? So damage over time. You got dots, you get the havoc damage explosion thing, you got the ignition from fusion, the freezing and movement or speed decreasiveness from Glacio will allow you to get more time to put damage in. But Electro Flare, you just reduce the attack of the enemy. That sounds crazy. And maybe a little bit of a skill issue. I was hoping this would be something that would make Calcharo be better, but you know, we're just gonna be reducing the boss's or enemy's attack so you can take less damage. And if you're already good at dodging and parrying, this literally has no reason to be there, like actual. But overall, I mean, I'd rather have this over nothing. The elements mean something. Typically, the only thing that mattered with elements in the first place was with certain bosses. If they have resistances, you can't use an element because, you know, they're resistant to that. Or in the tower, you have certain buffs for elements that make it do more damage. That's the only thing that mattered. Other than that, elements didn't really mean anything. They were just kind of there. They didn't have a meaning. This is huge though. This can help you decipher what you can do with a team. Opens more doors, right? For more possibilities. The game is really innovating, really evolving here. Still, and it hasn't even been a year yet into Wuthering Waves life cycle. And they are evolving the combat, which is huge. One thing I never expected was something like this. Elemental system. Who knows what we're going to be seeing in the future, dude? I'm blown away by this. This is insanely awesome. This game is expanding and being cooler. We love to see it. Anyway, enough yappage there. Let me know what you guys think down below. I'm sure this is going to be an interesting discussion. What do you guys think? Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.